So do tell me about, so you took a trip recently, right? You were doing a bit of a travel. Tell me how that was.
Indeed. So, that was really crazy, man. What I mostly tried to do was figure out so right now I'm working on this project about somesthetics. Somesthetics is just being sensitive to, it's somesthetic design is one thing, and somesthetics is a whole other contemporary art practice. But in somesthetics, essentially you move focus towards the body and its body sensitivity and the body's image in society in general. It spans just the self mostly. And what we're doing with the project, at least in this certain course, is that we are supposed to keep a somatic practice, which is a kind of feeling-based practice. Yoga is an example of a somatic practice, but the somatic practice I chose is balancing a stick, and just on fingertip. It started off as something to do to keep your mind still, almost. It was something that you just do with the stick to check its balance. Like when you feel the weight of the object and the essential ergonomics, let's just say, of an object, you know what to do with it in some way. So with a stick, my intention was to balance it. And I've seen that with a lot of people, you kind of gauge the mass of the stick always. And this promotes you to kind of balance it. And I looked up online about this balancing stick stuff, and it just came about to be these people on this site called Record Setter doing like balancing a stick for about like half an hour or to an hour and stuff like that. It's quite cool. But then I did some research and I found out that if you're balancing a stick on your fingertip, it apparently is a inverted simple pendulum, and some people argue that it is also just a normal simple pendulum because you're moving the point, and they've done this 3D mapping of the stick as well to show how wherever you move your finger is almost the same as the top tip of the stick. So the way that you learn to balance is by gauging the uncertainties. That's what you base all balancing off of. And they say that to reduce the amount of uncertainties of the fall of the stick, you apply simple harmonic motion. So that's just the back and forth kind of thing. So as humans, we apply that to almost every, I think you've heard of that, about how simple harmonic motion is almost present in almost everyday life and everything that we do. So the way you reduce the amount of uncertainties on that stick is by applying this simple harmonic motion back and forth. And that's why it relates to a simple pendulum. Anyway, so back to the trip that I took. While on this journey, I was basically trying to see how balancing a stick felt somesthetically, what kind of signals it was giving me as I balanced it. So you can actually follow my page on Instagram. It's called @balancing_somesthetics. It's just a very small low-key page. No, I'm not trying to like put it out there. It's just to document essentially what I'm doing in terms of balance. And as you start to balance, you can feel that it's the same algorithm for almost every object. You don't have to learn the object. The object is irrelevant almost because you are just learning to apply that balancing knowledge you know on anything. So once you start balancing a stick, I can guarantee you can balance anything. I've been balancing guitars, chairs, and random objects like my scooter and stuff, like the pedal scooter, not the essentially I was trying to build some mind maps and stuff in my room, and I've done some stuff on the other side. But this is essentially my journey at that time, was trying to figure out how I can move past this to essentially build an experience which kind of enlightens or provides a certain kind of feeling towards designers to design more somesthetically. That's the aim of this project, to kind of show a different process of product finding or iterating almost with the body more than anything else, which is really cool. That was what the journey was.
I've actually never heard of this field before.
I know, neither have I, man. This was the first time, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. Somesthetic design, and some people can get it confused with ergonomics, but it isn't the same thing. because the ergonomics, you're just putting the person in whatever space that you want, and you're seeing how they act with the surrounding. But somesthetics makes the body the locus. So you are looking at the body for all the inputs inwardly. So
it sort of reminds me of those structures that you see on riverbanks where you have these balancing stones. Look like they should not be standing up, but they're just like very intricately structured.
Have you tried it? Have you tried balancing?
No, man, not really. Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy process, man. Even I have tried time and again, but it takes a lot of patience. Haven't you seen them on Instagram? Those people who do it. So, absolutely. I feel it's a lot about repetition also. Generally, about this consistency of repeating. I don't know if you've seen these dudes online. I mean, probably everyone's heard of them. These the builders, the two guys in the jungle who build together all those weird pools and stuff like that.
You know about primitive
technology. Yeah. Crazy. Those guys, I think that's just about repetition, and I think it did its way in social media, the repeating, and also skill-based work in terms of repetition. It made them build better buildings, or kind of iterate better homes, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Because now they have a water slide in one of their homes. I just saw a video. There's a water slide in the pool, which is like, okay, you've just been building like tree houses and underground secret stuff, and now you're just like amusement parking stuff out of the jungle, you know.
Yeah, that is pretty epic, dude.
Primitive technology.
I was going to say, like, the balancing, it's almost like the repetition of doing it. It feels to me like it gets to the point where you're training your brain to do like some sort of pattern matching, where you're like, try balancing it this way based on number of times that I've tried it. And now your body's getting used to that kind of pattern matching, and like very subtle pattern matching that too.
Exactly. I would say this very much so. By trying it, I can tell you it's exactly this. It's exactly this. It feels almost like you're the machine learning. I mean, I can't put it any other way. But the repetition really helps. And also, mainly, the reason I started doing this stick balancing is that if you try it yourself, which is something I wanted to do, I wanted to put this out on my Instagram, asking people to just balance the sticks and see what they can do with it. Because there's this whole self-gamifying nature about it, is that when you start balancing, you kind of develop the challenge and you make it harder for yourself. Because once you start balancing, it becomes a little bit easier. But then you try to push yourself as a game, and there's no kind of ego involved. There's no prior knowledge involved into this. The challenge is very clear. It's very bodily. That's why it's amazing. You should try it. That's what I did in one of my juries also. As a defense, I just took 3 sticks and I asked them to balance it, and they instantly knew what I was trying to say, because it's a fields experience.
There's a lot, like there's one type of balance that I like to do a lot. You know how when you can take a rolling paper, sort of bend the edges, and you can put in a finger and go it around like.
Yes.
That
bro
was such a.
You're the one who showed this to me. I took this to Germany. Okay, I took this to Germany, bro. There is a guy who is an absolute legend now at this paper thing. Like he can do this and then switch hands, and then it like moves and switch, and it goes, and like it's really cool. It's really cool. But that thing that he showed me was amazing.
It's way easier than it looks, right? Once you just sort of get into the groove, it's just like almost like your hand is a helicopter and you just have this thing going around it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Have you ever tried to do the small paper?
I was just thinking about it. Whether we used smaller ones or big ones. Because it's been a while.
I think we did the big one. Sure. This is like an origami episode, ABNUX2. fold the piece of paper like this.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Anyway, if people want to know, you first this paper, you bend it halfway, quarter, and then the same on the other side. So you got 2 bends. Then you bend this top part. You just make a small square on the edge. I don't know if you guys can see this. So around the corner, you should get a small rectangular square right here, and the same on the other side.
There you go. This is what that looks like.
That's small paper. Okay. Here goes. Oh, okay. I think I need to bend mine a little more, give it some more aerodynamic stability. But I definitely think it works with the big paper. Ooh! Did it work?
Hold on. I don't know which direction to hold it in, so.
Ooh! Man, I still don't know how this is. It's too good. It's just too good to be true.
I feel like it takes some time.
This one spins way fast. This one spins way.
That is cool.
Yeah, this is super fun. This is always supreme fun. Ooh.
Yeah, I gotta try this.
This is like the stuff that you need to do during quarantine.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Nail a skill within a day.
Quarantine crafts.
So a bunch of this rolling paper, this small rolling paper, it got wet during this journey of mine, and I only realized it probably an hour later that it was wet when I was trying to roll a cigarette. And then I felt it, and it felt like this blob of skin almost. The paper felt good in some way. I don't know. So I just took it out and I threw it on this other piece of the brainstorming board that I have here. I just threw it, and now when I look at it, it looks like skin almost. These patterns, these creases on how they've stuck. It looks like skin.